Alrighty. Oh. Let me actually.
It's already live?
Yes, it is. Yeah. All right, I think we're on. Hi, everyone.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Welcome to Boys and Girls Club on the Go. We have another exciting week planned for you all. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us today. As always, if you attend a Boys and Girls Club site or if you're just watching with us, let us know where you're watching from. So let us know your city and state or your site down below.
Absolutely. And make sure you have your parent or guardian's permission to be on Facebook Live with us. We want to make sure that everyone is being as safe as possible. Today, Mr. Sergio, along with the special guest.
We have today is a recurring guest on
Yes.
our little show, Miss Danielle.
Hey everyone, hope everybody's having a good day.
So today we're going to be doing a really fun experiment. Today's activity will fall under STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it's kind of a 2-in-1, so stay tuned and we'll show you guys what we're going to be doing today.
Alrighty, how about we do some Harambe?
All right, awesome. Okay. So if you have been watching us or you're familiar with Boys and Girls Club, you know that we do a chant called Harambe. Harambe means coming together. So we're going to start that right now. And as always, we start with the day of the week. So today's Monday, so it's Monday and Harambe. BGC is in the house, say what? It's Monday and Harambe. BGC is in the house, say what? All right, awesome. Now we'll do another chant. We'll do our usual, which is boom chicka boom. So I'll start it off. I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom boom chicka boom.
I said a
boom boom chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka rocka chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka rocka chicka boom.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me see you do it.
Let me see you do it.
Nobody's way.
Nobody's way.
All right.
All right.
So,
Are y'all ready to get started?
I think just one more thing.
Okay.
We should go over safety as
Absolutely,
always, right?
yeah.
So as always, we want to make sure that we're washing our hands for at least 20 seconds. So you can count to 20. You can sing happy birthday. You can always find another song that you like and take 20 seconds out of that and sing that. The next part of safety would be if you sneeze or have to cough, you want to make sure you use your elbow and cough away from someone. So again, think of it as a dab. And you want to make sure to wash your hands or sanitize after you sneeze just to be safe.
Also, we want to make sure that we social distance. So if you are in public, make sure you're staying at least 6 feet away from others. And if you see your friend, give them an elbow bump, a high five from a distance, but try not to actually get too close with hugging and shaking their hands.
And a lot of times if you go out places now, you'll see that they have like X's or stuff like that on the floor to keep everyone distant. So we want to make sure that we monitor where we're at and look out for any of those signs on the floor.
Absolutely. And also make sure that you're not touching your face. It's so easy for us to fix our glasses, move your hair back, scratch your nose, but you may not realize that you're spreading germs by doing that. So if you have to touch your face or anything, just make sure that you wash your hands beforehand.
And the last thing would be that if you don't feel well, please make sure that you tell an adult immediately.
Absolutely.
So.
And let's just keep in mind that, there is this virus going around, but it's also flu season and it's allergy season. So we shouldn't come to the worst conclusion, but, make sure you let your parents know if you're not feeling well at all so that they can help you out with that.
Absolutely. Alrighty, thank y'all for tuning in. As we said, we have a fun STEM activity planned, so we'll go ahead and get set up and tell y'all the materials that you need.
Okay.
I'll zoom in.
So one of the most important materials that we're going to be using today is jelly beans. They can be any size, and Easter just ended, so they should be on sale if you go out and look for some. So we have jumbo jelly beans right here. They're actually jelly bean eggs.
The next thing that we have is toothpicks, and when we explain our activity, you'll see what we're going to use the toothpicks for.
So for the second part of our experiment, we're going to be using two substances. So one that you should definitely use is water. So I just have a plain cup of water right here. And then we're going to use another liquid. So we have
Vinegar. We also have vinegar. You can use other things that you have at home, like milk, oil. Mr. Sergio has some hydrogen peroxide, or if you have alcohol, anything's really going to work.
So you pretty much want to use anything that's two kind of things. So the first kind is something that's plain, so water. You'll use water, and then the second thing is something a little bit more chemical. So something like hydrogen peroxide, vinegar. But you want to make sure to use water and then another substance that has chemicals in it.
Ask for adult help for some of the chemicals. Adult help.
And with some of the things that you're going to be using, depending on what kind of liquid it is, ask for adult help if it's necessary. We also have paper plates that we're using for our second experiment, which you also have the jelly beans we mentioned earlier, but we also have Skittles that we're going to be using that will be put on this plate.
So for our first experiment, all you really need is jelly beans and toothpicks. If you don't have jelly beans, you can also use marshmallows, things like that. We're basically going to be making towers. We're going to build towers out of those materials, and that will fall into the engineering part of STEM, and we'll talk about that in a second. Let's see. Shout out to Chelsea Walker for saying thank you for informing you. We're glad to be here and helping. Alright, so again, for the first part of our experiment, we're going to be using jelly beans and toothpicks. You want to be careful with the toothpicks because they're a little sharp at the end. You can get a splinter, but just be careful, ask for parent permission if you need that. Need any help with that. And so like I mentioned earlier, the engineering part falls into STEM, which as also mentioned, is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we're going to be focusing on engineering. And engineering is important because it's a branch that's concerned with design, with building, the use of engines, machines, and structures. And it's basically a process of designing and building. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our toothpicks and our jelly beans, and we're going to build a tower. And you can basically build it any way that you want. There's no right or wrong way. You just have to make it stack up. And I think Miss Danielle and I are going to have a little competition to see who can build the biggest tower.
Comment who you think is going to win. I think it's me.
So engineering uses math and science, which is awesome. And there's 3 types of engineers for the most part. So there's civil engineers, there's mechanical engineers. I'm sorry, there's 4. So there's civil, mechanical, electrical, and then there's also chemical. And engineering is really fun because it involves, it's a fun thing to do. You're kind of playing. It's also great because it involves teamwork. So sometimes when we do this hack club, we'll have a group of people doing this together, and that helps, with teamwork, working together, competition. And it's also great because it can help learn about education and careers. So I'm sure a lot of people might start doing this activity and think, hey, it's really cool how we're building everything. And, you do that in real life. Buildings are, they're designed, they're structured, and they're built up. So engineering is something that you can actually make a career out of. So it's pretty awesome.
Okay, so what shape are you going for?
Okay, so I see you started with a triangle. You want to
Yes.
show everyone? Awesome. So Miss Danielle started with a triangle. I'm starting with a square. I always start with a square, but so I think I'm actually going to shape it up, and I'm going to make a rectangle.
So do the shapes play a part in maybe how tall or how strong your things will be?
I think they do. I think that if you have a pretty strong base that should hold everything up.
Okay.
So I've actually, I haven't seen anyone do a triangle before, so I'm really excited to see how that works out. So again, all you're really doing is you're connecting all of the toothpicks by putting the jelly bean in between them.
So I've started now building towards my second level.
So I have my base.
Guys, I would really recommend getting the jumbo jelly beans if you can. It makes it a lot easier to put your toothpicks in because you have a lot more space.
Yeah, and I would also recommend maybe using, I'm just using one toothpick for everything, but maybe maybe I should use two for better structure because these are kind of wobbly. So yeah, with two it does seem to hold up a little bit better. Oh. So you can use as many toothpicks as you want. There's no limit. You just want to make sure that it holds up. So yeah, jumbo jelly beans are definitely a good idea, but I think if you use the smaller ones, you should be able to use maybe two at a time.
Alright, I'm making it to my third level.
The cup and the hydrogen peroxide, so they can see. Wow.
Ooh, this is tough. So if you have any other cool shape ideas, feel free to comment and let us know what shape you would choose if you were building this tower right now.
So it's okay if you mess up. As you can see, mine is messing up a little bit, but that's okay. We'll fix it.
It's making me nervous now.
And yeah, just remember, take your time, don't rush. It's kind of like playing with Legos.
Some more.
So I started adding extra toothpicks to mine, and that's holding it up way better. So you can use as many toothpicks as you want.
Mine is doing okay with just the one toothpick. So so far.
So I think I'm actually gonna change it up a little bit and have it going up this way instead. So I'm gonna add some more toothpicks to reinforce it.
Okay, so this is how mine is looking right now, guys. I'm gonna try and add more to see if I can get it just a little bit taller. So I switched up also what I was doing now that it's getting taller. I'm putting my top jelly bean on my toothpick and then sticking it in.
Oh wow, that's smart.
Seems to be getting
So I think that as you're building, as you're going higher and higher, it seems that you do need a little bit more reinforcement. So you definitely want to use 2 or 3 toothpicks to hold it up. Looks like Miss Danielle's winning so far. Looks like her prediction was correct.
She's starting to curve and wobble a little bit, but this might be the final level for me. Yeah, mine's starting to tilt. I don't know how many more levels it can take.
Alright, so I think that's as tall as I'm gonna make mine because I think it'll just fall over if we keep adding to it. So this is what I have in the end. As you can see, I ended up going back to my original square foundation design.
Alright, I'm adding my final level here.
Looks
Sorry.
like we have a winner.
I'm gonna try and pick it up without breaking it.
So as you guys can see, Miss Danielle's is way taller, and it seems to be holding up way better than mine, even though I use double toothpicks. So she definitely used a good technique.
Looks like it's starting to fall.
I feel like mine immediately starts kind of just going to the side, but that's okay. We're having fun.
Okay.
All right, awesome. So that's our first activity. We made a tower out of jelly beans and toothpicks. Again, you can use marshmallows or any other kind of things. I think gummy bears would work.
Fruit snacks. A lot of people have
Ooh,
fruit snacks.
Awesome. So we're actually going to use part of this for our next activity. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all the jelly beans and remove the toothpicks, and we're going to put these jelly beans in a circle on our plate. So again, you want to have a paper plate. Really any kind of plate should work, but I think paper works a little bit better for what we're going to be doing next.
Take it apart. So for this next experiment, we're going to be talking about the solubility of a solid. So that means that a solvent or a liquid, so our examples that we gave that we'll be using today is going to be vinegar and water. We're going to see if they can dissolve a solute, which is a solid. Our solid today is going to be the jelly beans that we're going to be placing on our plates. Now, it's important that your molecules are attracted to each other. So the jelly beans are going to represent our sugar molecule, and then we can have our water molecule or our vinegar, which are very attracted, at least the water and the sugar are. So we're going to see which one does the best job at dissolving the jelly beans. So if you're watching at home, feel free to write down your guess right now if you think vinegar or water is going to be the best thing to dissolve our little jelly beans.
So what do you think would be the best thing to dissolve them?
I don't know too much about vinegar, so I'm just going to go with water, but I do know that this has to do with non-polar and polar attraction. So something that I mentioned earlier that we don't have here today is oil, and oil wouldn't really work because it's non-polar. So I don't know if vinegar is non-polar or polar, so I'm just going to go with my safe guess of water.
Okay. And again, if you guys don't have jelly beans for this part, you can definitely use Skittles. Basically what is happening is that the food coloring that's added on here to the Skittles is what should be dissolving, what's being dissolved by the liquid. So you can definitely use Skittles, but we're gonna go with jelly beans today. So as you can see, we're making a circle on our plate with our jelly beans, and we want to make sure to spread the colors around. That way it'll make a really cool pattern once it starts dissolving.
They're so sticky. Yeah, like I have like the same few colors.
And of course you can make a pattern, you can pick out different colors that you want to use, and that way it'll look cooler. So I'm just going to mix up our colors and spread them out.
Let's see if I can find some more colors in here. So which one of our liquids are you going to test today?
I'm going to go with the vinegar,
Okay,
if that's all right with you.
and I'll go with the
Okay.
water.
Here we go. And something that's really cool that you can do whenever you're doing an experiment is you can make a little kind of hypothesis sheet.
Okay.
So I already made one, and I'm going to show you guys what's on here. and we'll give Miss Danielle a second, and she can make one too, and that we will each have one, and we'll talk about what our predictions are and what we think is going to happen. So right here at the top, we're going to write the name of our experiment. So the name of our experiment today is, Can You Engineer a Rainbow? So that's what we're going to write all the way at the top. Under that, we're going to write our name. And then we're going to we're going to divide right here in the middle and make two different boxes. The first one is where we're going to write our prediction, which is basically which liquid will dissolve faster and why. And on the next part, we're actually going to draw what's happening. So we have these two parts right here, and then on the bottom, we're going to have our final thoughts, which are, was your prediction correct? And what would you do differently? So it'll look something like this. You guys can just grab a sheet of paper and a crayon or pencil and make all these three parts right here. And we're going to write down what's going to happen. So since we already talked about our prediction, we're going to write that down. We're just going to give Miss Danielle a second to finish the last part. But her prediction was that water would dissolve it faster. So I think that vinegar will dissolve it faster. So I'm going to write vinegar. And why? I know vinegar is really acidic. So it says on here it's 5% acidity. I'm sure it varies from vinegar, from different like brands and different kinds of vinegar that you use. You know, there's white vinegar, there's all sorts of vinegar. There's vinegar for cleaning. So I think that the acidity will make the jelly beans dissolve faster. The color will dissolve faster because of acidity. So that's my guess. So I choose vinegar, and why? Because of the acidity.
And what was our last question?
The last question is, what would you do? What would you do differently?
Okay.
So we're going to draw what's happening, but first we are going to start with our experiment.
Okay. I just finished up doing what Mr. Sergio described to me. And prediction also means guess, so if you're not sure how to spell prediction or it's a little bit hard for you, you can just put guess in that box.
And again, this is a hypothesis, so basically it's we're talking about what we think is going to happen, and we never know if it's going to be 100% the way that we're predicting it or guessing that it's going to happen, but it's just what we think will happen, and we're going to see if we're right. And again, you know, it's just for fun, so it doesn't matter if I get it right or she gets it right. It's going to be really fun seeing who's right, but it's not really a competition. We're just doing it for fun, and we'll see. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So I have our vinegar right here,
I have the water inside the cup.
and just be careful when you pour it, especially with vinegar since it's really strong smelling. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna start pouring in the middle, and it's gonna spread out to the end of the plate, and you want to make sure that you don't fill it too much. So here we go.
Make sure you guys are pouring slow so it doesn't splash up and go everywhere.
Alright, so you want to make sure that the liquid has touched all of the jelly beans, and as you actually, so let's see if we can move the camera up a little bit. As you can see, it's already starting to dissolve.
So now that we see something is happening, we can go ahead and move to the box next to our prediction or hypothesis so we can draw what we're seeing.
So I think it's really cool how all the colors are kind of dissolving in kind of like a spiral. So as you guys can see, we're making a rainbow with our jelly beans. So down to the final thoughts. Which one do you think dissolved fastest?
I saw color on yours start to go, especially from the black jelly beans, before mine did.
Okay. Do you think maybe, I know I have like a little bit more than you do. You think maybe that's why?
That could be, but I think it just took, mine did obviously bleed all together, but yours definitely happened quicker. So I would say you were right.
Okay. However, if you look at mine, you can kind of see the colors are kind of, mixing in with each other. And if you look at Miss Danielle's, hers are all in one place. So it seems like the water kept the coloring more intact. Yeah, because like all this black and greens mixing together, but yours seem to all be in one place. So that's something we can definitely say about the water. The water kept it in its place. So was my prediction correct? Yes. Now again, something that probably has a lot to do with this would probably be the temperature. So maybe if we would have used colder water or hot water, that would have definitely had an effect on how fast the reaction occurred. So these are all things that you can think about and write down as well on your sheet. So what's something that you would do differently next time?
I think maybe that I would include a variety of liquids, maybe just include more things to see what really makes a difference.
Okay, I think what I would do differently would be I would basically try to use less jelly beans or maybe different colors in certain places, so that see if that way maybe that affects it a little bit.
So this is what my sheet looks like, all filled out with the prediction, what I drew, what I saw on my plate, if I was correct, and then what I would do different right at the bottom.
Alright, and here's mine. So for this part, you would definitely want to grab crayons or markers, things like that, so that you can draw the reaction that you had.
And guys, one of the things to remember is that if you have extra jelly beans, Skittles, whatever you use, those are fine to eat, but the ones that are in the different liquids you don't want to eat.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to eat those, especially the ones dipped in vinegar. That would be really nasty. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We hope you had a fun time. We will be back soon, and we'll have more fun activities for you guys to do along with us. And we want to remind you about our Goose Chase app. So our Goose Chase app is an app that we've made so that basically everyone can do kind of like a really fun online scavenger hunt, and it's really cool. So like you'll download it and it'll tell you like, oh, take a picture with this, tell a joke and like record it. It's really fun. And there is a giveaway going on, so the person with the most points at the end of the 2-week period will get a really cool BGC bag filled with a lot of cool things. So you want to make sure to download it. You can download it from the App Store or from the Play Store. You just need to look up Goose Chase, and that's spelled GOOSECHASE. And once you download it, there is a code that you need to use for our Boys and Girls Club scavenger hunt. So that's this right here. It is JW8RWG. So JW, the number 8, RWG, and you want to make sure to input that code whenever you're downloading it so that you can access the content that we have on there. And as always, we want to remind you guys to stay safe. Only leave your house if you really have to. Make sure you wash your hands. You can use hand sanitizer if you don't have access to water and soap. And practice social distancing. Make sure you're not too close to anyone. And yeah.
Hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Bye.